Commissioner Del Negro in, but he is, hopefully we'll be getting him in before we, as we begin the meeting. I'm going to go ahead and begin. So good evening and welcome everyone to our Millbrae Planning Commission meeting for December 20th, 2021. This meeting is being done by via video conference only, and the information for how to log in is on our agenda. So with that, I'll call the meeting to order, and may we have the roll call, please, from staff.
Commissioner Wong.
Present.
Vice Chair Davis.
Here.
Chair Joe.
Present.
Commissioner Del Negro. I don't have a verbal. Oh, let's see. He's raising his hand. Let me see if I can get him to go now. There we go. He's coming in now. Great. Commissioner Del Negro.
I'm present.
Thank you. And Commissioner Quigg.
I believe you said she was excused.
absent,
Yes,
yep.
she will be absent. Okay, and can we have the Pledge of Allegiance, please? So if you can stand with me, and I guess we usually have our flag posted
Sure.
online. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will go ahead and start with item number 1, which is agenda review. Do we have any items that need to be addressed in terms of the agenda for this evening? Okay, I'm not seeing any. So moving on to item number 2, which is approval of minutes. So this is for we have one set, which is for the special meeting minutes of December 13th, 2021, our last special meeting that we had last week. Do we have a motion and/or any discussion? Commissioner Wong.
Yeah, I would like to see the minutes amended to include more discussion about the main concern that we had about circulation and parking, especially on the properties coming across from the TOD project. So a couple things, for example, is that the developer noted that there was not clearly marked on the drawings loading and unloading bays for the property where the drop-offs and deliveries would be. And that also the staff noted that they were investigating some improvements along the backside of the property, including another road on the back of the next to the canal. There may be an additional circulation loop out of the TOD 2 project. So, and that was also the point of issue that Commissioner Del Negro had about improvements for circulation and access in the back and parking drop-offs. And also we're concerned about having clearly marked areas for emergency vehicles. So I'd like to see the minutes amended to reflect that, and so notes Commissioner Del Negro's concerns about why he objected.
Did anybody else have a comment, or did you want to see that the notes come back to us, the minutes come back to us then with the revisions? Is that what you, okay, other commissioners, Commissioner Del Negro? Yeah.
I have nothing further to add. I appreciate Commissioner Wong's statement.
Okay, Commissioner Davis.
Only that, yes, why Commissioner Del Negro voted no is an important add. But I mean, I know we're trying to move toward action minutes, and this is detailed minutes. They're not action minutes. So adding more is like, okay, going in the wrong direction. But adding an important bit, important, but adding more, I'm just confused. That's all.
Okay, well, it seems like we do have a kind of a concept, because that was going to be mine as well. So I think we can perhaps just ask for the minutes to come back to us with some revision, maybe trying to strike a balance between keeping keep preserving some of the discussion that happened while keeping it action items. My personal comment was going to be, at least with Commissioner Del Negro had voted no, I thought it important to include his objections at least. That's always been my thing, is that we don't have to include every discussion, but maybe if there is a dissension, that we should have a note of the objection. So would we, I don't think we need to have a vote on it, but would the commissioners like to, should we go, can we go ahead and ask for those to come back to us in minutes?
It's
Um,
rude.
Staff, do we need to vote on that, or can we just ask you to, we'll go ahead and extend that to the next time?
Roscoe, Darcy, do we have to vote on it? No. Okay. Noted. We'll bring them back to you next meeting.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for the
And you're clear on the comments that were made, though, in terms of
Yes.
the request? Okay, so a little bit of a balance, because for me, I agree with Commissioner Davis. I prefer to, I think we need to keep them, not go too long, our minutes, but there were some crucial points that were discussed and some concerns that were noted. So trying to preserve a balance between that. So with that, we'll just continue those meeting minutes to another time, to another meeting, to next year. Listen.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 3, this is time for public communication. This is reserved for persons wishing to comment on any item that is not appearing on the agenda, but does fall under the purview of the Planning Commission. So do we have any members who wish to speak? Again, this is not on the agenda items, but on anything else that the Planning Commission covers.
We do have one hand up, but I'm not sure if it's for this
Okay.
or for the project.
So the person who has their hand up, is this regarding?
Oh, the hand is now down.
Went down,
So it must
okay.
be for the project.
Okay, great. And no other hands?
No.
Okay, so seeing none, we will continue on to item number 4, which is a public hearing. We have 4A, which is 930 Hillcrest Boulevard, and this is a public hearing on a design review permit application to allow a major remodel, second-story addition, and new third-story to an existing 2-story split-level single-family residence located in the single-family residential zoning district. May we have the staff report, please?
Sure, Joe. Before we begin this item, I'd just like the community and the public that's watching this meeting tonight to be aware that staff discovered that emails sent to staff email accounts over the weekend and this morning were being delivered. So as a result, if any member of the public sent an email to any city email account over the weekend through this morning or through this afternoon, there's a strong possibility that staff did not receive that. So if that were the case, please do read that comment into the public record this evening, and we'll allow additional time for that.
Thank you. And you said that's from Friday or?
I would say Friday evening through this afternoon.
Okay, thank you. So if we can go ahead with the staff report now, thank you.
Oh, excuse me, Jean.
Sure,
Commissioner Chair.
yes, Commissioner Wong.
Just a disclosure that I did visit the property, and then I met neighbor at 949 Hillcrest and discussed their concerns as they were outside while I was viewing the property.
Okay, thank you. And since we're doing that now, I will say that I did as well visit the site itself and met the owners. Did anybody else want to speak to that as well? Any other commissioners?
Look at the story polls, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it.
Okay,
I also looked at the story polls and met the owners of the property.
okay, thank you. And maybe have the staff report, please.
Yes, good evening, Chair Joe, Planning Commissioners, project applicant, and members of the public. My name is Sam Fielding. I'm the senior planner, and I will be presenting the project at 930 Hillcrest this evening. And I'm now going to share the screen. Are people able to see the first slide?
Yes, we're good.
Okay, great. So this is for a design review permit for 930 Hillcrest. The applicant is requesting a design review permit to allow major remodel, second-story addition, and new third-story to an existing 2-story split-level single-family residence located in the single-family residential zoning district. This is the location, approximate location of 930 Hillcrest, indicated by the star symbol here, located in the Highlands subdivision, just above the spur trail. This is a site photo and the project overview. Again, it's a single family residential located in the R1 zone. The lot is a 7,168 square foot lot. There's an existing 3,027 square foot, 2-story split level home. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. And the proposed renovation is proposed renovation for the first floor, in addition to the second floor, and construction of a new 3rd floor for a total 3,825 square foot home. The proposed home would be 6 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms. This is the existing and proposed site plan. The proposed site plan indicates the cross-hatched area for the 2nd story addition, which is toward the rear of the lot, the rear of the home, existing home. And then the cross-hatched in the center of the building is the 3rd story addition. This is the existing first floor plan and the proposed first floor plan. The existing garage will be enlarged to, currently it's an existing non-conforming garage as far as the dimensions, so it will be enlarged to be in conformance with the garage standard dimensions. And there will be, there's an existing bedroom located behind the garage. The rest of the property, as it's on a slope, has crawl space. And there's a laundry room and a bathroom, and then a stairway to the 2nd floor. This is the existing 2nd floor plan and the proposed 2nd floor plan, indicating the new family room at the rear, the new dining area, and the new kitchen. So the open kitchen. There's also a small deck at the rear of the 2nd story, and then stairways going to the 3rd floor. This is the proposed 3rd floor plan, indicating the 2 new bedrooms and 2 new bathrooms, the walk-in closet, and then the stairway going up to this 3rd floor. And this is the proposed roof plan. It will be a combination 312 and 412 roof plan, but the 3rd floor will be 312 sloped. These are the upper floor setbacks. 10 feet is required. The applicant is, and the architect is in compliance with the setbacks as indicated by the red dimensions here for the front 10 feet. The left or the right side varies between 10 feet to 13 feet. And then the left side from 10 feet to 12 feet. And then you can also see the roof pitch for the ground floor here. This is the existing south and proposed front elevations. The existing proposed north rear elevation. And the existing and proposed east elevation. And this is juxtaposed with the property located directly above and adjacent to 930 Hillcrest, which is 940 Hillcrest. You can see the outline of the building existing, and then the 3rd floor addition located in front of the 2nd floor of 940 Hillcrest. And this is the existing and proposed east elevation facing 940 Hillcrest. These are the sections. This is the proposed rendering. And these are the proposed materials. We have a light gray metal gutter, composite tile, dark gray roofing material, aluminum clad wood trim color India red. And then the stucco wall color would be a Tangelo cream. The garage door would be India red, and the front door would be India red. This is the neighbor response. So staff received two neighbor consultation forms and support. The symbol in black are neighbor consultation forms that were sent, but we received no response from them. And then these are the neighbors in red that we received opposition emails and letters from. So, and mentioned here. Again, as I mentioned, 939 Hillcrest and 933 Hillcrest supported. There was the neighbors at 940, 949, 950, and 957 Hillcrest opposed the project, and no response was received from 315, 301 Minorca Way, and 925, 943 Hillcrest. The neighbor concerns, that the primary concern was from the adjacent neighbor uphill at 940 Hillcrest. They expressed concern with blocked views from their second floor and loss of property value. The other neighbors across the street also expressed concerns about blocked views and concerned that the proposed new three-story addition is not in character with the neighborhood in its building mass and scale. There was also some concern about parking impacts for this proposed project. So staff reached out to the property owners at 940 Hillcrest, and we requested that they send us photographs from their principal rooms indicating what their existing view was from the second floor. So this is the dining area view before story poles were installed. This is the view looking east from the dining area at the front of the house. This is the view from their kitchen. Two photographs. And this is the view from the rear family room looking east. Additional photo here. These were the photographs that staff took after the story poles were installed. So this is located from the front dining room looking east. And you'll notice the flag here are the story poles. So this is what the location of the second story would look like in the view from the second story of 940 Hillcrest. This is the view from their kitchen. So you can see the view impact from the proposed second story addition next door. And this is the view from the living room at the rear, again, looking east, where the proposed second story addition would be, or sorry, a third floor addition would be at 930 Hillcrest. So in order for the design review permit to be extended, it must meet the design review permit findings that are required under section 10.05.2500 C.2 A through D of the Millbrae Municipal Code. And these are that the first finding that the architectural landscaping and general appearance of the proposed building or structure and grounds are in keeping with the character of the neighborhood. In evaluating the project, the application, staff found that the majority of the homes along Hillcrest Boulevard are two-story split-level homes. And although the architectural design is compatible with the existing house, the proposed new three-story home would not be in keeping with the character of the neighborhood, as most homes are two stories in the neighborhood. So staff felt that the finding number one could not be met. The second finding is that the project must comply with all applicable development regulations. In this case, the existing front yard landscaping as submitted in the plans does not comply with the front yard landscaping requirement, which allows a maximum 40% square foot paved area in the front yard and requires at least 60% square foot area for landscaping of natural earth and vegetation. So the applicant would need to revise the site plan landscaping as a condition of approval for this project, as it does not meet the front yard landscaping requirements as it was submitted. The third finding is that the project must comply with the intent of the adopted design review guidelines and that the project will not cause a significant visual impact to neighboring views from the principal rooms of a residence unless it is proven by the applicant that there's no other viable or cost-effective alternative. In evaluating this finding, staff determined that the second story of 940 Hillcrest will have their view significantly impacted by the project, with approximately 100% of the San Francisco Bay view blocked from their dining room and kitchen and 33% of the view blocked from the living room. Staff reached out on numerous occasions throughout the review of the project and suggested an alternative, looking at the possibility of the applicant at 930 Hillcrest enlarging doing a horizontal ground floor addition, which would be of the equivalent area of the proposed third floor, but would be at the rear in the backyard area, thus preserving the bay views of 940 Hillcrest. The applicant did not provide evidence that there was no other viable or cost-effective alternative and did not wish to revise their plans based on the suggested alternative. And the last finding that the proposal is not detrimental to the orderly, harmonious, and safe development of the city and will not impair the desirability of the investment or occupation in the neighborhood in which the building or structure is erected. So the proposed major remodel, second story addition, new third story to an existing two-story split level would impact the adjacent neighbor views. The third story addition could impair the desirability of occupation in the neighborhood, given that it blocked a significant portion of the upslope neighbors' existing views of the bay. So staff felt that this finding was not met. In addition, staff looked at the consistency with the general plan and looking at these land use goals determined that it did not meet the LU1, preserving the quality of residential neighborhoods, with special attention given to the protection of views from nearby properties. It was not consistent with this goal. With the goal LU 2.2, the residential design guidelines strive to achieve the following goal: locate and design structures to minimize the obstruction of primary views from structures on neighboring properties. Again, this goal was not met. And LU2, promoting proper site planning and architectural design and property maintenance to protect the character and quality of Millbrae's residential neighborhoods and minimize impacts to views. The proposed project did not meet, was not consistent with this general plan goal. And lastly, the Millbrae general plan summary highlights the city's desire to ensure that new development does not unduly obstruct their views and detract from the value of their property. This is a goal, a general goal in the general plan, and it was not met. This project did not meet this goal. So at this time, based on the evaluation of the project, the neighbor concerns, the story poll evaluation, and the review of the plan, staff cannot make the findings to recommend approval of the design review permit, as the project does not meet the general plan goals and policies and the design review permit findings required for approval. Staff at this time is recommending that the Planning Commission review the project, consider the public testimony and the findings as presented, and deny the design review permit application and attach resolution to allow a major remodel, second story addition, and new third story to an existing two-story split level single-family residence located in the single-family residential zoning district based upon the findings within the staff report. This concludes my presentation. Staff and the applicant are available to answer questions, and I'm happy to answer questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fielding. And before we go on to the applicant, do we have any questions of the staff at this time from the commissioners? Commissioner Wong.
Just breaking down the staff report and clarifying some of the findings from staff. The staff asserts that the remodel is not in keeping with the size and the mass of the neighborhood. However, just from a cursory look at the neighborhood, I see that the house next to it on 960 is another 3-story, similar, appears to be similar in size. And then that's to the west, and then to the east, I see that there's another 4,000 square foot home on 301 Menorca, which is 1,000 square foot larger than the 3,000 proposed remodel at 940. So can you clarify what you mean? It's not consistent with the size and the mass in keeping with the neighborhood?
Yes. So staff, we evaluated the homes along Hillcrest Boulevard between the Menorca and the 2 blocks up the hill on Hillcrest. So the majority of the homes on Hillcrest, about 27 of them, are all split level 2-story homes. There is the home next door at 940 Hillcrest. That's a 3-story. It was built in 1939, and then they did in 1997. There was an approval of a horizontal addition at that location. But in general, looking at the homes along Hillcrest, the majority of them along that hill are split level 2-story. This would be like a 3-story home that would directly block the views of the adjacent neighbor at 940 Hillcrest.
Can you tell me what the square footage of that house at 940 is?
I don't have access to the total square footage at my fingertips for 940 Hillcrest, but I could look that up. The San Mateo County assessor may have that information, but I don't have that.
My question was just if it is any larger or bigger than the house right next to it at 940 and at 301 Menorca, which is on both sides. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, any Commissioner Del Negro?
Yeah, I mathematically speaking, it seems like it's a 798 square foot addition. I do see an addition of 262 square feet on the 2nd story, according to the debrief, and 611 square feet on the 3rd story. That adds up to 873 square feet, not 798 square feet. Somewhere 75 square feet are being removed elsewhere, or just making sure our math is right.
There, yeah, I could pull up the
I'm just reading the numbers here: 262 on the 2nd story, 611 as the 3rd story.
Yeah, I can pull up the plans. You can take a look at that, and also have the architect explain that.
Okay. And then last, I just want a confirmation that the increase of 108 square foot in the garage is the removal of an interior wall in the garage. Is that true? What it looks like in the plan?
Pardon me?
The 108 square foot increase in space in the garage,
Yes.
is that due to a removal of an interior wall within the garage? Because it doesn't look
Yes, they are enlarging the garage, removing some of the walls to bring it up to our current garage standards.
okay.
The dimensions, yes.
And could you tell me, why did 950 oppose the project, considering that between them and this project is a 3-story building that blocks their view pretty well?
Yes, I did request, the staff did request that they send photographs of their view impacts. I do have those, if you would like to see them. Staff looked at them, and they're not really impacting the view of 950 Hillcrest, because this is from an extreme angle at the back of 950 Hillcrest looking down. And so you can see sort of the edge of the story poles, but there's, as you say, there's already the existing building at 940 Hillcrest. So their view is like looking down at the backyard and some of the trees below Millbury, but there's tree branches and trees there, and there's no actual view of the bay from.
And in your opinion, a rear addition on the second story would not impact that view? The alternative that was discussed.
Yes, from 950.
Yes.
Okay. No, yeah, it would not, because it's low enough so that it would not impact actual view of the bay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I think the staff will get back to you with the numbers, Commissioner Del Negro. I would just note that the first floor is being reconfigured. So I think there's some square footage change that's happening on the first floor. So that might account for your math. Commissioner Davis, did you have a question? Okay, so let's go ahead and hear from the applicant.
Okay, I'll bring them in.
Actually, I did have one quick question myself. I forget to ask my questions. You mentioned in the staff report that the front landscaping is not in conformance, is not conforming.
Yes.
And so that was also told to the applicants, but they decided not to worry about that at this time. Is that what's going on with that, and resubmit? Or
they did. We did point out to them that there needed to be additional landscaping in the front, and so in their most recent revised plans that they submitted for Planning Commission, they did add like what would you call it? Sort of like a planter, like a cement planter on the front there. But in reviewing that still wasn't enough. Like there was more pavement because the front yard has 2 or 3 different paved walkways and has a very wide driveway. And so even calculating with their new revised plan, adding that planter, it still did not meet the requirements. It would still need to be revised further to increase that planter size, and possibly, remove some of the walkways, because there was an excess of paved area in the front yard.
Understood. Thank you. So I have a Bill and a 930 Hillcrest. So who will be speaking?
Yes, my name is Bill. I'm the project architect.
You're the architect. So are you Mr. Guan?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
So
correct.
thank you for joining us today, Mr. Guan. And if you can speak a little bit to the you've heard the staff report and some of the concerns regarding or some of the suggestions that were made for alternate plans or whatnot. If you can just speak to, if you'd like to add anything to that, that would be good.
Sure. Again, my name is Bill Guan. I'm the project architect, and I'm speaking. First of all, I want to thank the commissioner giving us the opportunity to speak tonight to present our project. It has been a while. The project started since 2018, and a lot of things going on between then and now. But I'm glad so finally we had the opportunity to speak. First, I want to thank Sam and the planner. They worked all very hard on this project. And second, I want to bring it up that the project does comply to every planning code. It complies to the floor area. It complies to the setback. It complies to the parking, the height. So we didn't ask for any exceptions. And whatever the planner asked for to make the code comply, we make it code comply. And period. We didn't make challenge or anything. And second, the third thing I want to bring it up is really important. I think there's misleading. The building right now, the existing building right now is a 1-story building, a split level. Only part, the lower part of the area above the garage, are 2-story building. So the new additions, the 611 new additions are built over a one-story building. It's not a second story. So I would say the 611 addition is considered as a second story addition only. And why it happened? Because previously, Linda, the planner, she had insisted that it's a third floor addition. I explained it to her time after time, but she just don't take this idea. But again, I would say this is only a second story addition, because the lot is sloped from west to east. So on the west side, it is only a one story right now. It's only a one story. There's a crawl space underneath. So we are building another 600 story above. So it's still considered as a second story addition, not a third story addition. So that's one that I want to focus on and emphasize. It's a second story addition. And the fourth thing I want to say is, in the early phase, when Linda, the planner, was working on it, she left the city already. She left for another job, maybe a better opportunity. And the second floor addition is like, we propose a 900 square foot addition, 900 square feet. But right now we had cut, we cut it down to 611. It's a significant reduce of floor areas. And I read the code, and the planning code is saying, I think it happened like a couple years ago, that when you do a less than 500 square foot of a second story addition, you don't even require to have a public hearing, no matter how you block the view, or so we are just over a little bit, 106, 111. So I mean, it's really tough for my clients if this since he spent so much effort and time on this. And the fifth thing is, I want to say that the neighbor, especially 940 Hillcrest, we do block some of his view, but I believe that do impact his room, like dining room and the kitchen. But those rooms are not the main, especially the kitchen. It's not really big, not a main, you can call it categorized. It's not a main use space. And it's, most people are spend their time on the living room or family room. And I would already say is, this house has the biggest house in the whole block, 3-story buildings. And I think it blocked a lot of neighbors' view. I think it blocked a lot of neighbors' view, and I think it's not fair for my client or for a lot of other people. So 950 is totally blocked by 940. So so I want to end my presentation here, and I want to thank again for taking the time to review, to listen to us. This project has, taken us a lot of time and effort. I hope you can just take a look, the neighborhood, and see the story pole, and give us opportunities. Just, be fair. I mean, be fair to my client, be fair to the neighborhood, who in the future, who we want to, do addition around the neighborhood, so they can have opportunities. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And I believe we have the owners as well here. So Mr. Wu, I think. Did you want to speak as well?
thank you for the opportunity, to hosting this meetings. This has been, very tedious for us. I mean, it took, even with the pandemic, it's been 2 years for this development plans, and finally we come to this hearing. So hopefully, this would be, the final decision for this project. As our architect, spoke previously, next door neighbor 940, they are actually 3-story buildings. And, from the initial projects we have, we propose, over 900 square foot. And because the planners, request and consider the neighbors, we have reduced, to, a little bit over 600. So I guess, we are not stubborn. I know this project will take, a little while to get approval. So we've been trying. So hopefully you guys give us the opportunity to really consider, our projects. We will be the new family moving to Millbrae. Since the start of this project, our kids are like, they're in kindergarten. Now they're in 2nd grade already. So we are very eager to, moving to Millbrae to start, the new lifestyle. I know Millbrae is a diverse community, except, different ethnics, and neighbors. So hopefully you guys, consider getting this project approved, and we'll move forward with the development. Thank you so much for all your consideration.
Thank you. And I'll give the commissioners to ask some questions, but did you want to address, because the staff did note that they suggested to maybe build toward the back as opposed to building up. Did you want to address that a little bit as to why you chose to go with this?
I can. One of the reasons is because we want to preserve the open space. My client loves gardening, and he want to have as much as open space for his kid, and also maybe future there will be a swimming pool. So I think preserving the yard is a very priority for them to keep it that way, not to taking so much of it because the addition.
Okay, thank you. Do we have the commissioners have any questions of the applicant before we go to the public? No, I'm not seeing anybody. Commissioner Wong.
Taking myself off mute here. Okay, I see the application submittal date was March 2019, so that's been quite a long time, over 2 years for it to reach here. I'd like to know from the architect or the homeowner, has there been a lot of discussions with the neighbors about their concerns, and during this length of time when the original plan was submitted, has there been changes to the plan to accommodate neighbors, or any changes to address their concerns?
Yes, we've been talking to the previous owner, but unfortunately he sold the house. So we had a new owner come in, and we don't even know there's a new owner, like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And also COVID really play a big role in this case as well. We didn't have the opportunity to invite the neighborhood for a meeting because the COVID situation. So, but we understand their concern and we've been very patient, but it just didn't work out. But we did make the addition from 900 square feet to barely 600 square feet. We cut down again and again, and we make the roof slope was we were proposed to make a high roof slope like 4 by 12, but we make it like eventually we end up with like 3 to 12. So the height is being reduced. The proposed floor area has been reduced. So we do make an effort to show our sincerity to make everybody happy on this case, but unfortunately it didn't work out.
Any other questions? Commissioner Del Negro, yes, I
And
saw
the
you
applicant-
unmute yourself.
Can the applicant clarify the square footage addition, how much it really is for each of the floors and the total?
Let me see.
I just want to make sure it lines up with staff.
Yes, we have been go back and forth, and because let's see, Millbrae, when Millbrae look at the floor area, they including like decking, all the deck over 7 feet, and they also include crawl space. So during the part of the design, we like cut some of them, like take out some of the decking, and we take out some of the crawl space. So that's why it come up that number. Yeah, we have been studying again and again, and the number was shown on the floor plan is correct. It shows every on the plan. It shows every room size. That's what we end up, because we do some of the roof deck, and we cut out some of the crawl space, and we so that's how it ends up.
Commissioner Del Negro, did you want a breakdown of the floors? Is that what you're
Yeah, well, so
requesting, or-
I think there's no disagreement that the top level is 611 square foot addition. The level before that, the report says 262 square foot addition on that floor. But 262 plus 611 gets you up to 873 square feet as an addition. And the project says it's a 798 square foot addition. So I just trying to figure out, where's the extra 75 feet coming from?
I think if you want to come up, we really have to sit down on the plan, because like I said, Millbrae, when it comes to floor area, they had a way to calculate everything, like the deck, also crawl space. I can, sit down if you had question, really had to sit down together and calculate every floor and which one is the floor area.
I'll leave it to staff at
Right
this
now, by just
Yeah,
looking at the number, I
Right.
cannot tell you.
Yeah,
Thank
I think we should go ahead and keep it to,
I'll
do
leave it
we
to
have, Mr. Feeling, do you have the answer to Commissioner Del Negro's question?
Well, I can direct Mr. Dunn, go to the
also
floor
talk
plan
about
sheet on
the
A2.2.
I'm sorry, Mr. Guan, if you can hold off a little bit,
Oh,
because we do have the staff talking.
Yes, on plan sheet A2.2, the proposed third floor plan, there's a table on that sheet, and it calculates the square footage for the first floor, second floor, and then the third floor, and then the total. So these numbers are the numbers on the area floor plan, which match what's proposed in the scope of work on the first plan sheet, on the cover sheet of the plans. So the third floor, 611 square feet is proposed. The second floor area would be 2,128 square feet. And then the total first floor area would be 1,086 square feet. So the grand total for the floor area is 3,825 square feet. And also keep in mind that the stairways in Millbrae, the stairways are not counted for FAR. And in addition, the crawl space with a vertical height of 5 feet or less is not counted for FAR.
Right.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and go to the public comment section. Do we have any members of the public wishing to speak? I believe we do. And what I would say is the emails that we have received, they are part of the staff our report that we have. And just to note that everyone will be given 3 minutes, which will have a timer. And I know there were some emotional, this invokes a lot of emotional responses. So I would just ask everyone to stay, keep cordial. I assume that you will, but so hopefully I don't need to say this, but if you can keep your comments cordial and we can, and on the merits of the project, that would be great. So with that, can we go ahead and?
Yes, I'll just be going in the order that I've
Come
seen
on.
the hands. First
That's
is
fine.
Andre Sartor.
Okay,
So go
and
ahead and
if you-
unmute.
Thank you. And
Okay.
if you can, and if you don't mind, Mr. Sartor and everybody else, if you can, just for the benefit of the Planning Commission, if you don't mind, if you can introduce what your which place you are at or where you reside, just for our, it's not required, but if it's helpful, that might be good. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Okay, am I live now? Yes,
Yes, we can hear you.
sounds great. So my name is Andre Sartor and my wife Lisa Nardi Sartor. We reside at 949 Hillcrest, and we appreciate very much having the opportunity to talk. I've been here since I was 25 years old. I'm now 62, so 38 years in the house. I've seen a lot of things in Millbrae. I've also been in Millbrae since I was 6 years old, over in the Meadows. So a product living here. This usually comes up when it comes to views and things like that. My wife and I are vehemently opposed to this since 2018 when Mr. Guan came over with some paper that said that they were starting to maybe talk about this project. And there's been no reach out whatsoever from the homeowners to us, whether it be Mr. Guan or them. We have no idea. This is the first time we've actually gotten any information from them about their family. You have to remember when they bought this house, they went right to a business model of short-term rentals. And this has been an ongoing thing. They have people going and coming all the time. Sometimes people stay a month, sometimes they stay 3. And so moving vans and cars and everything has been continuous. And I'm very hopeful that whatever is going on with their remodel, whatever happens with the remodel, this is not for that. They certainly are playing their cards that it's for people as a family. And if that happens, that's good. My neighbor next door to me, so out of all my years being here in Millbrae, I've never had to get on a thing like this or go down to the Millbrae because everybody pretty much communicates. My neighbor next door just put in a very nice remodel. And we didn't have to talk about anything. He says it's going to be not mitigating your view and everything's going to be fine. And boom, there it was. And he went out and down. And that's what pretty much everybody does. And it's important. So it does impact my living area. Mr. Wong verified that. The story poles block out the north part of my view from San Bruno Mountain and all of the north part of the airport. And that's a really big thing. It's not as much as 940 because that's an egregious blocking. But in my situation, it's egregious to me because I've lived here for so long. I personally know that when 380 is blocked, I could take 101 to the city or vice versa. I will be losing that 380 view. And of course, there are other things, more technology is taken over with all the different maps and things I can use, but it's just kind of a visual thing. And that's where your emotional content comes in. Again, thank you very much. There's probably a few more points that I wanted to go with, but again, there's a denial here that's from the beginning. And I do recommend that the 930 people maybe go with somebody different that has a little bit more vision about going out and down to comply with everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have the next.
Okay, Alan Chung, if you'll come off mute.
Hi, Amy.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, Mr.
All
Chang.
right. Good evening, members of the City Planning Commission. My name is Alan. I'm here with my wife, Sue, and our kids. We are the family living in the adjacent home at 940 Hillcrest. To answer Commissioner Wong's earlier question, our home is less than 2,800 square feet. Despite the fact that we are 3 stories, our home is modestly sized and within the character, I think, of the neighborhood. And now, obviously, we are relatively new to the neighborhood. But then at the same time, we've been very excited to be a part of the city and community. Kids go to Meadows Elementary. We volunteer for the school. We donate to the MEF. We enjoyed activities like the National Night Out and the Rotary Park Carnival a couple of weeks ago during Halloween. We were very surprised to see the flags planted right outside of our kitchen and living room windows, as all of you saw in the pictures. The new roof line that is being proposed to be built will obviously affect our views. Again, as all of you saw, the airports, the hills, and the bay are all going to be impacted. And of course, this is right from our living room, from our kitchen, from our dining area. And so, along with that, it will be impact our property values negatively. On top of that, I would say we would almost certainly lose natural light. And well, there's actually also a privacy concern, as I think one of our windows stares directly into our living spaces. We actually have worked with the city throughout this entire process. Sam and the city planner and his staff have been very kind in giving us a history, giving us the context, giving us ongoing updates. We let the staff into our home so that they can see for themselves, hey, this is what this is going to look like. As somebody else mentioned, unfortunately, we haven't heard anything from our neighbors. We've tried to ask for any sort of, updates, information. We've tried going through Sam and the staff. And again, like a lot of the presentation today is basically news to us. And because of that, we feel like that, our concerns haven't really been heard. We haven't really never been approached. And so, we feel like we have really little venue to kind of express it other than through this. So to summarize, I want to reiterate that, we strongly oppose this expansion for all kind of this detrimental impact that we have on our new home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chung. And next person, please.
Yes, I'm Christine Coe, if you'll come off mute.
Okay, Ms. Cole, whenever you're ready.
Good evening. I want to thank the Planning Commission as well for holding this community outreach. And although I am basically calling in for my mother who is at 950 Hillcrest, our home is not impacted as others in the area. But from her bedroom, her master bedroom, the story poles do block part of the view. You're right, actually 940. That remodel many years ago before the new family moved there did block the majority of her view, but we still have a good portion that would be blocked by this house at 930. And as far as parking goes, I am concerned about that when I hear the six bedrooms, because as was mentioned in an earlier by somebody earlier, that house has multiple tenants in it and multiple vehicles, and there's only 2 parking spots there, so it's not a as far as I know, it's not a multi-unit building, but it's being treated as such. And adding a couple more bedrooms would only make it worse. And I do believe it is a 3-story because you do count the first floor, the garage basement area, if that's being used as a living area, and then you're adding 2 more stories on top of that. So we are opposed to this. It doesn't fit in with the neighborhood parking. There's not sufficient parking as well. And that's basically it. I do agree with my neighbors, and we oppose this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cole. Next person.
That is all the hands.
Okay. Just a last call. Any of the members of the public who have not spoken yet, is there anyone who would like to speak? Because otherwise we're going to close this time. And you're still seeing none?
Yes, there are none.
Okay, thank you. Can we have a motion to close the public hearing, public comment section?
I'll make a motion to close public comment.
Second,
Motion a second and a vote, please.
Commissioner Wong,
Yes.
Commissioner Del Negro,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
yes.
and Chair Joe.
Yes,
Thank you. Public comment is closed.
thank you. Did we, okay, did we have any, do we have any motion discussions from the commissioners? Who'd like to go first? Oh, everybody's quiet. Anyone want to start? Okay, Commissioner Wong.
Sure, I'll start. I really like the design of the house, the remodel, the matching materials on the exterior, the upper floors with the bottom floors. To me, I have a lot of questions about the character of the neighborhood, because when we purchase a home, we think about the expansion properties, and looking at the house right next to it at 930, appears to be 3 levels also, and the one right next to it to the east at Menorca, it's like 4,000 square feet is what I get from brief search. And so it gives the impression that, there's parity, that it's reasonable, that this neighbor has a 3-level home, and I want to build and expand my home to 3 levels also. There's other issues, though, that I'm not clear from the staff report about the size of the home, because we're talking about here, it's a 7 bedroom home. So that seems to be very large compared to other homes in the neighborhood. We are under the gun up and down the state. They're asking people to allow ADUs and increase density in homes, and even split lots to allow more people and accommodate more people, because we have a housing crisis. So there's that to consider. So some of these larger homes and expansions, it seems to be what a lot of the politicians and what the people up and down the state are clamoring for. But then again, there's balancing the neighbor concerns, and what I'm looking for is what has been done to balance the expansion plans, which we're all for, allowed people to expand their homes, improve their homes, with balancing the needs for the neighborhood, so that it's in character with the neighborhood and creates an environment where we want to see, improvements in neighborhoods and everyone happy. And when you see a remodel, you hope that it adds to the neighborhood, and it provides more community, and everyone's happy with it. What I don't see is that last part right now, at the outreach and the compromise and any concessions that we can do to have that. And then also I see a big lot of concerns from the staff, who are really experts looking at this full-time job, and very thorough staff reports that says, no, this is not consistent with many of our general plan requirements. And so that concerns me too. So there's a balance here. And for me, I think the balance is tipping. I take a lot of, give a lot of credit to the staff and the time and the effort that they put in the neighborhoods. And of course, the homeowner, they put in a lot of time and thinking too. But for me, I just don't see right now a lot of where the compromise and where the give and take is.
Thank you. Any other commissioners wish to speak? Commissioner Davis.
I agree. The landscaping issue has to be fixed. It's not okay to have that much pavement. And while nobody owns their view, we do try to preserve them as best as feasible. And in this case, there is a viable alternative that has not been seriously considered. And given that, I can't support the project at this time.
Thank you. It's just Commissioner Del Negro, did you want any comments?
Yeah, for me, my view here is that it's a third floor. Third floor is a third floor. It does look like a third floor to me. I kind of agree with Commissioner Wong that I'm not sure it actually does not look like it's in place at the community as far as the height. The building right next to it is a third story building. It doesn't feel out of place as far as the mass and size, but I do have to say is the view impacts on that house next door are absolutely egregious. I think one of the neighborhoods use that word. It does impact the entire second floor view. And as nicely noted by Commissioner Davis, there is alternatives that have not been explored. I think we're clearly at that point where that is a key element to moving forward.
Okay, thank you. And I'll just, before I ask for a motion, I would agree with everything that's been said as well. And I think it's important to explore more options. I don't personally think that it's necessarily the massing, and I do appreciate that it is there is no exception being requested, that it does comply with the requirements in with our code, but the view impacts are significant, and this is a situation where it doesn't feel like there's been enough exploration into other options, because there is a big backyard. And I also would like to make sure that any plans that come in should have the proper landscaping, everything built out and thought through. And then finally, the neighbor outreach, I think is super important to be able to talk to the neighbors. There are sometimes when you can't come to a full resolution, but I think, we would like to see more an attempt to, come up with some to see if there's some other options. So having said that, do we have any motion from anyone? One of the commissioners, obviously. So any of the commissioners would like to make a motion? Oh, everybody's quiet. Okay, Commissioner Davis.
I move to deny the design review permit for this project.
Do we have a second?
May I, Chair Joe, just to clarify, based off of the findings in the staff report, I'm sorry, in the resolution attached to the staff report, attachment 1.
Yes.
That's sufficient? Okay, just want to clarify. Thank you.
Yes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second Commissioner Davis's motion.
Thank you. We have a second from Commissioner Del Negro. Can we call for the vote, please? Staff.
Commissioner Wong,
I agree, deny.
Commissioner Del Negro,
I agree to deny.
Commissioner Davis,
Agree.
Chair Joe.
Yes,
Motion passes 4-0.
thank you. So the motion has passed to deny the review design permit review permit for 930 Hillcrest. Sorry, is there an appeal period? We've done this in a while, so
Yes.
there is a 10-day appeal period still, right? Okay, so there is, just to let the applicants know, there is a 10-day appeal period, so you can choose to go that route if you so choose. And we hope that the comments from the commissioners have been helpful to the applicants.
And forgive me, Chair Joe,
Yes.
can we just confirm for the record that the motion was to approve the resolution as written in the staff packet that was attached to the agenda? I know Mr. Mata clarified it before the vote. I just want to make absolutely clear for the record that the motion was to approve that resolution.
So the motion was to, let me just go to it. So the motion was to approve the resolution by staff to deny the design review permit application for 930 Hillcrest, subject to the staff findings and condition reports. So is that sufficient?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So is it okay to go ahead? We're going to go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda. So moving on to item 5, which is new business. I am not actually seeing anything. So we will go on to item 6, which is our staff updates.
Yes, so a couple of updates for the commission this evening. Last week on Thursday, there was staff hosted a scoping meeting for the general plan environmental impact report. And the scoping meeting was to receive input regarding the scope of the CEQA document and the environmental impacts of the general plan update. That meeting was held at 7 p.m. Until, I'm sorry, it was held for 1 hour. That evening, we did have 3 people in the audience that participated in the meeting. Well, 3 people in the audience, one person participated and provided some comments. We heard VMT, study VMT is an issue, sea level rise, water supply needs as it relates to additional housing, land uses, school impacts, and housing costs. Just wanted to remind the commission and members of the community that the comment period for the EIR, for the scope of the EIR, not the actual EIR, is currently running through January 7th at 5 p.m. So if there are any topics or issues regarding the environmental impacts that should be studied as part of the general plan update, please send them to planning staff until January 7th at 5 p.m. Furthermore, the City Council held a special meeting that same day last week on Thursday regarding the SB9 urgency ordinance. The City Council passed an urgency ordinance which provides some objective standards to address the provisions of SB9. One important provision that was included was affordability requirement for projects that are submitting under the SB9 legislation, in which one unit one unit that is being proposed for 3 units or more being proposed, one of those units have to be an affordable unit. There's more information on the staff report of the December 6th City Council special meeting, and that will take effect January 1. And also to note that staff has received authorization from the City Council to address SB9, and staff will be, and the staff's consultant will be conducting workshops and outreach in the new year regarding SB9 and to fully flesh out the details of an ordinance to address those provisions. We're looking to conclude that whole process in the first half of the year, including around the summer of 2022. Any questions on any of those 2 items?
Mr. Davis.
Just curious on the affordable notion. Is that moderate, just not low, very low? What's affordable? What level are we looking at? If you have to have 1 of 4 units, be affordable.
Ms. Smith, you.
I'll take it. Yeah. Hi, Darcy, Development Director. This isn't on the agenda, so I don't want to talk about too much, or Mr.
Oh, it could come later. Never mind.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. It's
I'll
okay.
tell you this quick update for the community. We're working on posting that urgency ordinance online, which again was adopted by the City Council last Thursday. So just check our website. It'll be online soon for any members of the community who's watching.
Perfect. Thank you.
And I believe the full ordinance, because that's an emergency ordinance that just lasts for 45 days. So the full one, there will be a more permanent one that will be coming before Planning Commission, I believe. So I think it would behoove the planning commissioners to all be familiar with what the emergency ordinance is, and then we'll see it coming down the line. Any other items?
Just one. We're looking to cancel the first Planning Commission meeting in January, which is January 3. The second meeting in January falls on the second normally scheduled Planning Commission meeting falls on city holiday, which is the 17th, and we're looking to reschedule that for another day that week, possibly Wednesday or Thursday. And so I wanted to pull the commission if those 2 dates are work with their schedule.
Okay, and I think you can just email us and then we can address it. We can find a date where we have a full quorum. So
You can follow up on that.
yes, that sounds good. And I did have just one item I was going to bring up to ask about as we go to planning commissioner announcements and comments was in terms of our packets. I know our last time we had a big roll, 25-pound packet, and I think it would be good to maybe address at a certain point when we're not going to go into discussion, but whether we need all of the packet printed, whether we need, if everyone wants all the drawings, or do we do it online, or what's the most efficient way to handle it. I think that would be something I would like to address at some point. So just wanted to put that out there. So moving on to item 7, planning commissioner announcements. Do we have any announcements from our commissioners? No. Okay. Well, yeah, Commissioner Wong.
None other than happy holidays, everybody. Hope you enjoy the end of the new year and celebrate the coming new year. Best wishes to everybody.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. That was going to be my comment as well. So happy holidays to everyone and happy new year. I guess we'll see you in the new year. And hopefully there are a lot of good things to come in the new year. But in the meantime, a lot of winter rains and traffic and traveling and whatnot coming up. So I hope everyone stays safe and healthy and dry and healthy, and that we all can meet again in the new year. Hopefully January, middle of January, sounds like. Okay, so with nothing else, we'll go ahead and adjourn our meeting for this evening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, commissioners.
Everybody.
See you next year.
Holidays.